Hi everyone. It's been a while since I did my first and only book review, which was It's Different This Time by Joss Richard. And I just wanted to talk about the book that I read after that book, which was this book, Semi Well Adjusted by Alyson Stoner. It is a memoir, and I recommend it. I grew up watching her on TV, on Disney Channel, Step Up, um, listening to her music, and so it's interesting to see that side, then read her perspective on everything that happened behind the scenes. I thought it was very well spoken. I thought it was very well thought out, very well written. So she talks about her experiences in the industry. She talks about her auditioning for the Missy Elliott video, and her experiences on that set. And then she talks about auditioning and getting parts for Disney Channel, Mike's Super Short Show, Phineas and Ferb, Step Up. She's been in so much. It's interesting because she was in Step Up 1, as such a young kid, and then in Step Up 3 she's a college student. Um, and so yeah, so she talks about her experiences with that and her family dynamics, which I think is so interesting because I can't imagine writing a memoir and it's the people that you grew up with, the people that take care of you, that raise you, and how complex the dynamics are in that. And you know, if I were to write a memoir, you don't want to paint someone in such a bad light, but you also want to talk about what was real. So I just admire about her talking about her dynamics and being real and being honest. I appreciate her candidness. And then she talks about how she pursued psychology. I can relate to the passion of mental health. And so it's nice to see that she is an advocate for child actors and actresses' rights, um, and an advocate for her own mental health. It's interesting because she she is educated about psychology and trauma responses and what your brain can go through, what your body can go through. She talks about a traumatic experience that she went through, and I think it's interesting because anyone can have knowledge about a psychological response, a bodily response, but no matter how much knowledge you have in your head, you're still going through the trauma response. Even if you have substantial knowledge about how to cope with it, it's still traumatic and can still have such a negative effect on someone, obviously. Um, and so it makes me feel for people who don't know where to go, don't know what to do, don't know how to ground yourself in reality. And so I commend her for sharing her experience in that part of her life. I can't imagine how much it's helped other people. Yeah, so I admire her greatly about that. She also talks about her beliefs in religion, and her processing through her sexuality. It's a privilege to read about someone's life. For someone to share that much about their life, I respect. Um, and Jojo Levesque, who is, I don't know if I'm saying her last name right, but she's an R&B singer who I also love and grew up with. And I'm in the middle of reading her memoir, but when she writes her review, she writes, "How can a book be so heartbreaking and yet so hopeful? Allison's memoir is a bracingly honest and necessary examination of what it actually means to be a child in the spotlight and everything that happens afterward. Candid, insightful, and healing in ways I didn't know I still needed." Oh, yeah, I use similar words, but I understand what she means by healing in ways I didn't know I still needed, or I can only understand. But when she says that, um, I relate to the same sentiment because Allison writes from a place of hopefulness, and there's a light to the experiences that she's experienced. And it's inspiring to see how she turned her hurt, and her trauma into something that can be shared with other people, who can inspire other people, in a good way. And yeah, so I don't know. I really liked this book. Um, I recommend if you guys have any other book recommendations on memoirs, let me know. Um, and yeah, and the book that I read after this was I'm Thinking of Ending Things, and that one was a mind bender. but I will talk about that in a different video. So yeah, if you read it, I hope you liked it. Yeah, okay, bye.